I never know how to start these videos, but what's up guys? Welcome back. I'm pretty excited, and I say that every video, but I am in this video because this is one that I said that I wouldn't make, and here we are, I'm making it. Let's jump right into it. Today, I'm talking about the Ricoh GR3 or GR3X, whichever one you got. I'm talking about the GR3 because that's the one I have. If you have a GR3X, then get that one too. But I told myself that I would not make this video because I like this camera enough that I don't think I need to make a video. Also, if you were interested in it and you YouTubed it, there's probably already a million GR3 videos. So what can my video add except more talking amongst all the noise that's already out there? But here we are. So I decided to make a video. It's not going to be a long one. It'll be pretty quick. I just want to go over why I like it, why I sold my Fuji x100V and got this, or I got this, then sold my Fuji x100V, whatever you want to call it. But I no longer needed my x100V once I got the GR3 because I felt as if it hit the needs in which I had. Not saying that'll be your needs, but for me, that's what I needed. And I like to be honest, and I like to just speak from experience on my channel. So I appreciate you guys. Let's jump right into it. The GR3 is an 18.3 millimeter lens on an APS-C body. This camera released in 2019, so it's not new, even though it's relatively hard to find because it is an alternative to the x100V. And obviously, don't get me started on that camera, but everybody wants it. I chose to go this route because I also kind of fell for the hype of having a pocketable size everyday carry camera. To me, this is the perfect everyday carry camera. Would there be some changes I would make to it? Sure. But for what you get, I love it. It retails for $899, correct? I know, kind of a lot for an everyday carry camera, but I don't know, I think it's worth it. This edition is the street edition. You can tell by the little gold ring on it, and it's gray, whereas the regular edition is just black. So I think the street edition is like $100 more. I got this for resale, I guess you would say after secondhand, whatever you want to call it. I did not buy it brand new. I never buy any cameras brand new. That's aside from the point. But I got this secondhand from a really good friend of mine that he is now, and he gave me a great deal on it. So this is mine. Now, this camera is one of the cameras that I think blows a lot of pocketable cameras out of the water. The Sony was the RX100V, which is a really funny name. The Fuji x100V, they all have the same name, but they're all really good APS-C cameras that fit in your pocket. But do they really? That was always my gripe with the Fuji x100V. I loved it. It's a stellar camera. It's amazing. But the issue was, for me, I like to carry it everywhere, and you can't really do that with the x100V unless you have some sort of pouch, because it's not really pocketable. You can throw it in a pocket if you got some bigger pockets, but it's not really. The one thing I love about this camera is look at it in the size of my hand. You can literally throw it in like a pouch, your front pocket, your back pocket, and you can take it everywhere. That is one of the perks for me. I mean, not to mention this thing has a stellar macro mode. I'll post a picture here, but the macro mode is insane. That's a plus. It has internal body stabilization. You don't find that on pocketable cameras. Like, come on, man. It has USB-C charging, has a cool little 3-inch LCD screen on the back. That's actually not that good. The touch screen on it is pretty responsive though, I won't lie to you. Do not get this confused with the GR Digital. That is a different series of Ricoh cameras, which is fine as well. But the only ones that are the newest cameras would be the GR3 and the GR3X. They released in March of 2019. The only difference between the GR3X is that it is a 40 millimeter lens. 26.1 millimeters is what it says on the lens, I think, but that's the only difference. One is going to be a wider angle, which is 28 millimeter. The other one's going to be 40 millimeter. So whatever your focal length preference, I would say get whatever one fits that. I chose the GR3 over the GR3X because I personally like the wider look of an everyday camera. I'll go over a couple good things and a couple of bad things. We'll start with the bad things, and then I will finish off with the good things. And I think that makes it a little bit easier for everybody. One of the bad things about this camera is it doesn't have a viewfinder. That was a pretty big thing for me when I first got it. I've always been into film. Obviously, you guys know me, I'm a film camera junkie, but not having a viewfinder was pretty much a deal breaker for me. I always couldn't get used to looking at the back of the screen. or at least I thought I couldn't. I won't lie to you. If that is one of your drawbacks to this camera, you'll get over it quickly. After like 4 or 5 uses with the camera, I thought, you don't get used to using it with the viewfinder. Did I say that right? I don't know, but you get used to not having a viewfinder. Now, if you really want one, you can order an external viewfinder off of like Amazon or B&H or anywhere else. But to me, it defeats the purpose of the pocketability. My main draw to this camera is the ability to carry it everywhere. So if I have to carry an adapter, because they do have adapters for it and lens filters and all this stuff you can put on it, but it needs an adapter. To me, that destroys the pocketability of it. My main draw is I can carry it. And if I have to add all these accessories to it, then it's no longer carryable, and I might as well carry an X-T5 with a 23mm lens and just call it a day. That's not my goal. So that is one thing for me, is the no viewfinder. I got over that, but I can see why somebody else wouldn't. Second thing would be is it gets pretty warm. I won't lie. If you're constantly shooting, after about an hour, you can feel the body start to get a bit warm. And I'll piggyback off of that with the battery life is pretty horrible, I will say. You probably get 250 clicks out of a battery. So if you did get one, you're gonna need quite a few batteries. When I'm out shooting, I never go through one full battery because then again, I shoot film, so I'm not just blasting off shots. So I normally don't run out of battery like that. But if you are a happy-go-lucky shooter, you're gonna need more than one battery. The scroll wheel. I have heard that the scroll wheel happens to get loose. Mine is fine. I haven't had any issues out of my scroll wheels, but I have seen a lot of forums that that's an issue. Like I said, mine is fine, but I have seen that. Do what you want with that information. This is not a weather sealed camera, so a lot of people complain about getting dust on the sensor. I don't know if that is a real thing. I'm sure it is. I haven't had that problem, like I say, and I carry it everywhere. I'm assuming because once you turn the camera on, it opens up, obviously, and then when you close the camera, turns off, closes back in, letting in air and dust, obviously, because that's just how the function works. I don't know. I haven't had that problem. I have no dust on my sensor. I don't know. I would say do what you want with that information as well. They do also have this metal lens cap that you can get on Amazon for like $5 or $10 or something, and it sits right on top of the lens. I think that has worked fine in keeping dust out for me. That cap has done everything I needed to do and never been a big deal. Take it off when you need to. Has like a, I don't know, foam insert that holds it up against the lens. Yeah, I like it. Focusing light. It has a light on top to let you know that it's on. That also kills your battery. I don't care. I like to know that it's on. But to each its own. Now let's hop into some things that I like or that I love. First thing is going to be film simulations. It does not have as many film simulations as Fuji has. You can input your own film simulations, but it has, I think, maybe 5 or 6. My favorite being the high contrast black and white filter. If you follow me on Twitter or any other social media, you know I absolutely love that high contrast. Fuji doesn't have it. It's relatively difficult to create in Lightroom cleanly, you know what I mean? But I really like it. Straight out of the camera, the high contrast filter is awesome. Here's a couple images of what that looks like. To me, it has such a blown out highlights, dark shadows, grain, everything that you could want out of a high contrast filter. It really gives me emulations of film. I like that a lot. There's also a positive film simulation that it's probably my secondary go-to. I use it more than any other film, any other simulation. There's a negative film and a couple of other ones. There's like a low saturation, but the positive film is really good. It's probably one of these truest to color simulations that I use most often. And then I'll put a couple images up like that too. But to me, those are my 2 go-to film simulations. I love them. They're great. Another thing that I really love about it is, like I said, the small pocketability. My main draw to this camera, and I'll beat a dead horse over it, is I love the size of it. That is the reason I bought it. That is the reason I will continue to keep it, is because it's an everyday camera. Another topic I'll go into as why I like it is because I think it helps you stay in the moment. If you're out with friends, you're getting a bite to eat, you're hanging out, you can take it out of your pocket, snap a photo, throw it back in your pocket, and you can keep going. You don't have to just be the guy with the camera all the time. And obviously, if you're watching this, then you're probably the guy with the camera or girl with the camera. But it's kind of nice to not be the guy with the camera all the time. Another thing I think is when you're taking street photos with it, not to sound weird, but people don't take it seriously. You know, when you walk up to somebody, or not walk up, if you pass somebody and you turn this little camera on and you snap a photo, it's like, oh, he's a tourist, or oh, whatever. It's not serious looking, so it doesn't scare people away. To me, that is a huge factor in street photography. It's hard to get candid photos because if you're carrying around a Canon with a 70-200 or an X-T5 with a 90mm or just whatever, people get a little standoffish of, hey, why are you taking my picture? I mean, some people don't, but I don't know. I'll put yourself in that situation. This camera, from experience, you can snap a couple like offhand photos and most people don't take it seriously. It's almost like having an iPhone out. Nobody's really looking at you. And I think to me, that's a huge perk or a huge plus when it comes to having an everyday carry camera anyways, because you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to stand out. The thing is, the raw files are insane. You would think that an APS-C camera is like, it's going to have some drawbacks as far as image quality. It's not, man. I've been digging through these RAWs lately, and obviously they're not 40 megapixels. I think it's only a 24 megapixel camera, but these RAWs are like, they're so much fun. They have so much life, so much detail. Like I said, even in the macro mode, like, you can get so close to an image and get such a big file out of such a small camera. It's like, I don't know, it's a no-brainer to me. It's like, is it a little bit pricey of a camera? I don't know if everybody can, afford $1,000 for an everyday carry camera, but it's worth it. You're paying $1,800 for an X100V, $2,000, which is absolutely mind-boggling that people will pay that kind of money for a camera. But I don't know. To me, it's worth it. I will let you make that call. You make the judgment. Overall, I would give this camera a solid 8.5 out of 10 of the few drawbacks. It gets hot, battery life is kind of shitty. I mean, you can't give it perfect because of that, but other than that, I mean, what else can you ask for? Like, what do you want out of a camera this big? So yeah, let's dive into some photos that I've taken since I've had this camera in my possession, and I appreciate you. Like I said, thank you guys for watching. I always appreciate you. You don't have to, but you do. I love that for you and for me. Hit that like button for me, comment, and subscribe. Tell your friends if you love this video. Tell them if you hate it. Tell them that too. It's all good. And until next time, be easy.